students, and welcome back to the Lore of the Iron Kingdoms with me, Professor Caster. As mentioned in that ginormous two-player box set painting and stat card read and review video I did a few days ago, this is the shorter form of each of those sections. For everybody that did watch the hour, thank you, and for everybody that did not have that type of time, here you go. You can watch it in more bite-sized aspects. But again, if you could, before everything is set, please hit that like button, subscribe, and comment. Please do all those fun things, because that helps the great gods of the YouTube algorithm keep pushing this out to the rest of the folks that might be into the Warmachine and expand our community. Also, again, thank you so much, Steamforge, for sending us this two-player box set for review. And without further ado, let's get to it.
Right, and we are moving on to Razor. You can see I did the black coat followed by the gray highlight. For whatever reason, the Warjacks came up way clearer on the camera. I'm not sure if it's just because they were bigger models. Most likely that's probably what it is. Maybe it shifted better on it. Then we have the other black contrast coats. There it is. Looks pretty solid, if I do say so myself. And then we move on to the red coat, which is most of this model. Most of it's red coat. As most Warjacks are, their main color schemes usually go pretty well. And since these guys are not like camouflage or anything like that, because, you know, they're a Warjack, people know they're coming, I guess it just doesn't need to be all hidden. Which is nice. And the colors look really solid on this, especially the bigger plates. The contrast paints really come through with bigger plates. And there he is with his metals and his highlights. Basically on those glowing pieces, all you do is you hit it with you color them in white paint, and then you hit them in with yellow contrast paint, and that's how you get that glowing effect. And even if you get a little bit outside the lines with the white paint, it just adds to the glow if it's over with the yellow. So yeah, very, very nice. But let's go over his stat line and see how much more dangerous this guy is. His name is Razor. He has the trample, he has slam, he has headbutt. He has immunity to fire, he has immunity to corrosion, he has pathfinder, he has dual attack, and he is a construct model. Yeah, all of these guys are basically immune to fire and corrosion, as you can see. He has a speed 5, he has a mat 7, a rat 6, defense 11, and armor 19. His abilities include anchor, so friendly warrior models cannot be knocked down while base to base with this model. He has reposition 3. So at the end of this model and /unit's activation, that it did not run or fail a charge, this model can advance 3 inches, and then its activation ends. And then he has Swift Hunter, so if this model destroys one or more enemy models with a basic range attack, immediately after the attack is resolved, he can advance up to 2 inches. So this guy can move 2 inches after he kills something, then he can move another 3 inches of reposition, makes a very mobile and very dangerous Kadoran Warjack. And then his weapons include 2 grenade launchers, so he can make 2 shots with this. His grenade launchers are a rat 6, range 10, rate of fire 1, AoE 2, power at 10.5. Not the most of the power, but of course these are just those mini little grenade launchers. Then he has arcing fire, so he can ignore intervening models when making attacks. And then he has targeting flares, which is fantastic because that removes stealth. So instead of making an attack with this weapon, you can place a 3-inch template anywhere within 10 inches of this model, with a center point of the model's line of sight, ignoring intervening models, because that's how it targets it with this weapon. While a model is within the template, it loses stealth, and the model can ignore cloud effects when determining line of sight to it. The template remains in play for 1 turn. So that basically turns off people's ability to hide behind clouds, and it turns off stealth, which is always very useful to the more hidey models, including old school trenchers that like to hide behind clouds. This guy removes that ability. His next, and he has 2 of those shots, so he can shoot with, he can make 1 a normal AoE shot and then 2 a targeting flare, so whatever he wants to do. Then he has another melee weapon, or another ranged weapon called Slug Cannon, a rat 6, range 8, not the most range, rate of fire 1, and POW 16, which is pretty staggering. He also has the ability to shoot that in melee as well. The abilities on the weapon are Momentum. A small or medium-based model directly hit by this weapon is slammed D3 inches directly away from the model. The POW of the collateral damage is equal to the POW of this weapon, so 16/16. In addition to suffering a normal damage roll, a large base model hit by this weapon, hit by this attack, will become knocked down. So Small and medium and everything is pushed back to 3 inches, and if you're large, you're also knocked down. Fantastic. He also is a siege weapon, so he gains an additional die with this attack against buildings and huge base models. So he likes going up against colossals and buildings for some reason. I know we don't see too many buildings outside some of the tower stuff that we got, but having that additional damage roll on that is fantastic. And especially for a power 16 weapon, this guy's going to do damage to a Warjack every time he shoots. So this is not a little pitiful gun or anything like that. Although the range, could always be longer, but I imagine with a slug cannon like this, you don't really need it. He also has reload on this, so he can spend a focus or fury to make an additional range attack with this weapon during its combat action. So he can make 2 attacks with this and do some crazy damage to whoever he's shooting. His fun weapon is the Ripper Shield. It is mat 7, range 1, POW 18, so this is definitely what he wants to use in melee. And it gives him a +2 to his armor. So it kicks his armor up to a 21, which gives him a little bit more survivability. But if everybody's shooting at him at the same time, of course, he is going to go down eventually. So his abilities on his weapon are critical shred. And on a critical hit with this weapon during this model's combat action, after the attack is resolved, this model can make 1 additional attack with this weapon against the model hit. So if it gets a crit, it'll hit again without having to spend any focus for it. Fantastic. Then he has beatback with this weapon, so immediately after a basic attack with this weapon is resolved during its model's combat action, the enemy model can be pushed 1 inch directly away, and then this model follows up 1 inch, so he can keep doing it some more. So as far as a Warjack, this guy is pretty good at what he does. 21 armor, and if you give him more armor buffs, you can make his survivability even better. And with his normal abilities, being able to keep friendly models that are base to base from being knocked down is super useful for these guys all around. Sorry, dings happen. But let's move on to the... Oh, and whenever I was playing him, we got him a few range shots that didn't do as much as we would like them to do, but after that he kind of got ganged up by a bunch of different types of bullets and just got shredded, and it was very sad for him, but it broke the way for a caster kill, so it wasn't the worst thing to happen. So, but let's move.